undermining the record of progress that we are making as a nation, and hoping that by so doing, their own partisan political fortunes may be bolstered. This evening, there are just about 4 quick things that we want to do. First, we have some preliminary remarks to make on what they have done today. Second, we will deal specifically with the 2 key claims they have made today. And if you followed their presentation today, there are 2 key claims therein. We will be responding specifically to those claims. And then thirdly, we will be reminding all stakeholders of the record of this group when it comes to fulfilling promises and social contracts. And finally, we're going to put out a call on all persons to step up to the politics of alternative solutions as we head into the 2020 national conversation. Now, first of all, we believe it's an unhealthy practice for anyone, for the mere purpose of partisan political interest, to attempt to distort the record of our growth as a country. We also know from recent history that this approach or this tactic is not new to this particular group. Indeed, as you recall, since 2017, this group has always sought to cast aspersions on the major achievements of the Republic, with some hope that either by denying them or undermining them, they can get people to be displeased with the current administration, and that will inure to their own benefit. Indeed, at today's encounter, they started off by making the point that one of the best things in politics is that sometimes people have a short memory. And we would like to refresh the memory of the entire country on some of the efforts they have made in recent times to distort our record or to undermine the progress that we have made. You will recall that somewhere in 2018, they came up with a huge narrative that the government of Ghana under the Akufo-Addo administration had acquiesced to the building of US military bases here in Ghana, and that the consequences were going to be very dire for the Ghanaian economy. Indeed, they proceeded to court and advertised that procession to court as evidence that what the government of Ghana was embarking on was illegal or unconstitutional. A few years down the line, it becomes obvious that that was just one of the tactics at raising huge headlines, making huge claims, but claims which are unfounded as time goes along. Indeed, on the 5th of May 2020, the Supreme Court ruled that even the legal basis that they tried to make an argument on that particular claim was unfounded. You'll recall again the same group charging at the entire country that our efforts to arrange a $2 billion barter agreement with Sinohydro of China was indeed a loan in disguise, and the attempt to get the International Monetary Fund to classify it as a loan and to disallow it. Again, we had a heated exchange with them in this country to the final extent where the IMF ended up disagreeing with them. Talking of the IMF, this same group quite recently came out with another loud announcement that the government of Ghana was presenting different figures to the IMF and different figures to Parliament. Indeed, today they repeated that same claim. But again, you will recall that just a few weeks ago, the country director of the IMF, Dr. Albert Tunamama, debunked this claim. This same group, when His Excellency the President imposed a lockdown in parts of Greater Accra and Greater Kumasi, advertised through their General Secretary, Mr. Siedun Ketia, that this was an effort to rig the 2020 elections. And then when government commenced the easing of restrictions, they did a 360-10 to make another claim that the easing of restrictions was rather being done to rig the 2020 elections or to inure to the political benefit of the administration. We are recounting this for you to know that despite the new introductions they made today, some more screens, some flashy colors, the substance has not changed. They remain efforts at distorting the progress that we are making as a country, and we need to respond and set those records straight. The same group, in other instances, claimed that the issuance of the cedi equivalent of over $2.25 billion as a debt instrument by the Republic of Ghana to the capital markets, a good chunk of which was subscribed to by Franklin Templeton, was irregular, it was illegal, Indeed, they advertised reportage to international investigation firms and to the courts of Ghana. Quite recently, the courts of Ghana have even ruled that the minister responsible for finance, who they advertised at the time as having been involved in conflict of interest, had done no wrong in that transaction. There are several examples that we can give of efforts by this group to distort the record of Ghana's progress. And despite, as I mentioned, the razzmatazz and the screens of today, the substance remains the same. It is still the same effort. Now, what they have also forgotten is that if Ghana makes progress, and we all accept that Ghana is making progress, the government and the people of Ghana, regardless of which administration is in power, regardless of which side of the divide to which we belong, are the beneficiaries. When Ghanaian leadership is respected and appreciated across the continent or the world, they too, regardless of their partisan political color, benefit from the collateral credit. We're clear in our mind that this being an election year, and despite the expectation that our attention as a nation, even on politics, should be focused on leadership in times of crisis, will bring the need for groups to get partisan. We do not, however, believe that Ghana's progress record should be undermined in people's attempt to be partisan. Government assures the people of Ghana that it will do well to set and defend the nation's record of progress straight, even in these trying times. We also take notice of the fact, very obvious, that this group, often as they take delight in attacking His Excellency the Vice President, whenever he implores empirical presentations on Ghana's improving situation, only are now turning around to copy his approach, the data-driven presentations at town hall meetings. We repeat that while they attack the Vice President's presentations with all the venom and insults, just about 4 months down the line, when we presented the record of delivery on the manifesto, they have now come back to adopt the same approach, hoping they can undermine it, but mixing it with a lot of untruths and false narratives. Now to the specific responses. Yes, there was a lot of drama and flash and screens and repetition in their presentation today, but if you strip it of all the drama and the screens and the flashes, in substance, if you take the form away, in substance, there were two main claims they made which the government believes must be corrected in time. One is a claim that while government, in its report in February this year, outlined 388 promises and accounted for those 388 promises, they have discovered an extra 235 promises which the government of Ghana has hidden or refused to account for. In their opinion, the MPP administration made a total of 631 promises and has been intellectually dishonest, mind the phrase intellectually dishonest, in not accounting for 631 and 388 rather. We'll deal with that first claim specifically. Secondly, they make a claim that the MPP has failed in delivering 86% of this supposed 631 promises. In other words, they claim that we have only delivered about 14% of this supposed 631 promises. Again, we'll expose a strategy that they adopt in their attempt to downplay the progress that we are making as a country, in downplaying from 78% to 14%. Now let's deal with the details. The purpose of seeking to increase the MPP's promises from 388 to 631 is very simple. It's twofold. As we get into the 2020 national conversation period, one of the narratives that they seek to carve is a narrative of dishonesty. And in order to give life or credence to that narrative, they have to create scenarios that if indeed we made 388 promises, they will find ways of adding to it some 235 and claim that we made 631, and in the end say, therefore, that we have been dishonest. So part of the strategy of increasing our promises from 388 to 631 is to enable them make a claim of dishonesty against this administration. And we'll spend some time to show you how they arrived at that 631, though they did not come with that candor to tell Ghanaians how they were arriving at that 631. They claimed they had spent a lot of time to discover it, but how they discovered it, they didn't explain. We'll show you how they have added to our 388 promises some extra to arrive at this number just for the purposes of cementing an argument of dishonesty which they seek to make. They secondly make this argument because what they seek to do is to downplay our achievements as a country and as a people. And again, we'll explain how statistically they come to that. So how did they arrive at their 631 promises? Colleagues, as I'm sure you know, every proper document, be it your dissertation in school or a simple essay that you are writing, it has an introduction, the main body, and the conclusion. You would find that in the MPP's manifesto, chapter by chapter, when we pick a particular theme we seek to speak to, there's an introduction, there's expression of the vision and the strategic framework, and then you come to the specific promises that we are making in pursuance of that vision within that strategic framework. I'm going to ask my colleagues to project on the screens, for example, one of the examples that they touted today that deals with agriculture. So you notice that in their tables, and you recall they kept mentioning that there's a lot of detailed analysis. They will put it on the internet for all of us to have an opportunity to interrogate. So you notice that in their details under agriculture, they have added a number of promises to the specific promises that we have made. And we'll show you how they have arrived at those promises. So we captured this, for example, as they were doing their presentation on television. They claim that we've made a promise that, 1, we will modernize agriculture as a promise. 2, we will improve agricultural production efficiency as a specific promise. 3, we will achieve food security as a specific promise. 4, we will improve profitability for farmers as a specific promise. And they go on and on and on and on. And then they proceed to score all of those ones as failed, 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 and mention the pages on which these promises are found. Now let's go to the MPP manifesto. And let's go to the chapter that deals with agriculture. We don't want to take too much of your time, but we'll demonstrate to you the true intellectual dishonesty in how they have added to the 388 promises that we have made. This is the page of the MPP manifesto that deals with agriculture. So you see an introduction that says, agriculture continues to be the anchor of the country's economy, employing more than half of our workforce. Growth in this sector has declined dramatically under the NDC's management, incompetence and corruption. Food is unnecessarily expensive in a country that is blessed with fertile land, and we go on and on. Paragraph 2 now spells out the vision and the strategic framework. And colleagues, I need you to pay attention to paragraph 2. So in expressing the vision, we say, our vision for the next 4 years is to modernize agriculture. You see where they've picked that promise from? To improve production efficiency, to achieve food security and profitability for our farmers, all aimed at significantly increasing agricultural productivity. And then we explain the strategic framework that the MPP will pursue a value addition strategy aimed at rapidly ramping up agro-processing and developing new and stable markets for our products. And now we come to the specific promises. That in pursuing this vision, this is what we will do. Please go down so that our colleagues can see it. And we refer you to the copies of the manifesto. In pursuing this vision, the MPP will do the following. And we say, 1, increase subsidies on retail prices of seeds, fertilizers, and other agrochemicals. We say, 2, focus on developing irrigation schemes in the Front Plains and the northern savannah. What you notice our colleagues have done is that to increase our promises from the 388 to this, they are supposed 600 and something. What they have done is that they go and lift the vision and the strategic framework, then they copy words and phrases out of the vision as articulated and create them as new promises. This is what they have done this afternoon, claiming that they have discovered some new promises that we didn't make. But the words are unequivocal in the manifesto. And so this attempt to distort the base and claim that we have made a representation that is dishonest. This attempt itself is the true definition of intellectual dishonesty. Because in our manifesto, we have said what the vision is, what the strategy is, before we come to the specific promises. How is it that you now pick words and phrases out of the vision and the strategy and claim they are promises? And as we go through with the little we've been able to look at so far, you'll find many examples of this. As I mentioned, these are preliminary remarks. We'll have an opportunity to do a bit more as we go ahead. Now, when you come to the specific promises that we have made, as far back as February, 4 months ago, His Excellency the Vice President articulated them. The details are out there on the website, and they have not been challenged until 4 months down the line. We have this exercise of adding words from our vision and our strategic framework to increase the number of promises, just so that the base will now become bigger. And then when you score the number of promises that we have completed or in the process of completing over it, you get a low percentage. This is how, in many instances, they have added some 235 extra promises that they claim they have discovered. And as the days go by, we'll have an opportunity to do a lot more of this. These are preliminary remarks that we believe we must draw your attention to, even as you start your own analysis of what they have done today. How many promises were actually made? You pick the manifesto. They are there in bullet points that this is what we'll do. And we have repeated them on our webpage, which is delivery.gov.gh, which webpage we announced right from that evening in Kumasi, and which webpage is available for you to go out there and interrogate. So this new claim that some new promises have been found, we are showing you how they've arrived at those new promises. They are lifting words from vision and strategy framework and adding same to increase the number of promises so that they can say we've been dishonest, so that they can have a bigger base, and then when you express the numerator over it, you can get a lower percentage and say that we have not done well. In any case, this so-called claimed 14% will not even be believed by the hardcore NDC members. If you ask them, they themselves will not score President Akufo-Addo 14% on his record so far. But we believe that this attempt to distort records is important for us to speak to. How many promises have been tackled? Right back from February, we have said that about 85 of our promises, we have not tackled them. Today, you notice that in a good number of the promises they are saying we have failed, they have 4 months down the line, after holding a big press conference, repeated that which we ourselves said 4 months ago that we have not tackled. It just amounts to a PR stunt aimed at doing some of the things I have already highlighted, which they have done in times past, and which, as the days go by, you realize have very little substance in them. And then we also take special note of their new claim that Akufo-Addo's administration has mainly failed in restoring the economy to health, and the new narrative that they want to spin out of it, that Ghana's debt position is worse off today than it was as at the end of 2016. We will have to refresh their memories on where the economy was in 2016, after they sent us into an IMF bailout, and what the IMF says today about Ghana's economy. I'm sure you've all seen copies of the recent IMF country reports that spell out where we were and where we are now. Now, they advertise, can you please go to their website they advertised today, which is www.mppfieldpromises.com. They advertised that they'll roll out a website with all the detail so that we could all interrogate these promises some more. And we've been trying to do so. As at about 10-15 minutes ago before we joined you here, this advertised website, which is supposed to contain the details of these promises that we haven't fulfilled, is still not up. I don't know if you can access this particular website, but for a group that claims that they are calling out the administration for being intellectually dishonest and that they have detail outlined on a particular website, that website is not up. Let us go to the government website that lists the 388 promises that we have made and where we are. And that website, in all of its detail, sector by sector, remains up there. So this smoke and mirrors exercise that we have had today, if you take away the screens and the flashes, etc., in substance, it is nothing different from what we have observed in times past. And we'll be looking forward to that detailed list of promises. And as we've done in the case of Agric, we'll seek to expose the intellectual dishonesty that they have tried to put the people of Ghana through as at earlier today. Now, we think that it is also important to remind all stakeholders in the Ghanaian democracy about the real nature of this group that always seeks to undermine Ghana's development record. Specific to the subject of fulfillment of social contracts, this group, we believe, has no moral right to question another administration on fulfilling promises. And this is because when you compare their first term record of 4 years, promises made and promises that they had completed at the end of 4 years, to where we are, yet to complete our 4 years, the results are startling. May I ask my colleagues to project? We have done some work on their manifesto promises 2008 to 2012. And if I have a few minutes, this is just the summary. I want the Excel sheet. No, the Excel sheet. And we will give you copies. Right from here, we'll give you copies. And we encourage you to ask of them if indeed these are persons who are committed to the question of delivering of promises and fulfilling of a social contract. The first thing they have to do is to explain where they left us on these promises they made in 2008. And we'll leave them for you, several of them. Perhaps if you just expand the font a bit so that I may just read a few to our colleagues who are here. It's an Excel sheet, but we'll do well to give you a copy. So for example, they said they will make no excuse for corrupt government officials. That was one of their first promises under corruption in 2008. I'm sure you all recall the initial conversations about Woyome and the attempt to justify it as an administration. Before, as the Times caught up with them, there was this attempt or this charade at acting on it. If you can just reduce it so that I see the legend on the side as well. Reorganize the Serious Fraud Office to be independent of the party and those in power. They tackled it a little bit. They never got to the bottom of that one. Separate the budget of the Serious Fraud Office so that individuals in power cannot play politics with investigations and hinder anti-corruption work. They feel that. We're going to give you a copy of their 2008 first-term manifesto and benchmark it with our first-term manifesto. And in that analysis, you will find out, please go to the summary, the pie chart at the end on the other sheet. We'll give it to you because we don't want to take too much of your time. You'll find out that about 67% of the individual specific promises they made in 2008, by the end of their tenure, in 2012, you will find that they had not touched them. They had not delivered on them. This is the group that now has become the apostles of the fulfillment of social contract. And we'll give it to you, and we encourage you to ask them a few questions about this. It was only 33% of their promises that they had completed or they were in the process of completing by the time that tenure ended. We are of the firm belief that if anybody wants to push a conversation about fulfillment of the social contract, this group that today seeks to distort our record must be exposed for who they are so that we all know that they are not the apostles on this matter. Simply put, a political group that failed to achieve the huge substance of their social contract in their first term doesn't have the moral right to question a group that is currently on track with about 78% of its social contract. A group that has no regard for its own social contract, the people of Ghana, should be seen for what they truly are, and when they attempt to distort the record of progress Ghana has made in recent years, we need to call them out. We want to conclude, very simple. If they are really minded to participate in a constructive conversation about Ghana's future, we're happy to have with them a debate of alternative policies. Alternatives, for example, on what it takes to revamp the Ghanaian economy. Alternative programs on agriculture. The 2020 conversation is about credible alternative policy proposals generally, and specifically in the areas of building a strong, robust, expanding economy that will provide jobs, incomes, and opportunities for the majority of our people. The 2020 conversation is about quality of leadership in times of crisis. It's about strong social protection programs that can help alleviate the poverty and suffering of the Ghanaian people. And we want to invite this and any other group that wants to participate in this conversation to focus on these matters. And we want to encourage you, our colleagues in the media as well, to subject all parties to what we call the moral credibility of their own records, the quality of their leadership, and the alternative propositions that can improve the lives of our people. As a government, any attempt to distort the record of Ghana's progress must be called out, even as we focus on constructive conversations that will make our nation great and strong in the end. This is the very simple brief we have for you today. And if there are any questions, we will take them at this point in time. I just want to quickly translate in Twi for the benefit of our colleagues who are covering for the 3 stations, and if there are questions, we'll take them very quickly. And now every I'm saying I need to Amayo Kuba Kwa we almost in Sembia Guabontin say in Puntua Ghana ye to no woman yintum na almost so say yintum pon senia a buying any Ghana for bebre any impo one of my woman on here we are say Sikasem Puntu near dear Eka na wa e wo se bonito ene ya fa sansem de di kan ye won sem kakra e be kan fa sa kuo ni abre ni abre bia de o mkeka fa Ghana puntu de to so mienu ene o maka nsem na poso mienu a e wo se etumi eyi ano ene ya e to so miensa wodo man ka se o mo bobre e wo e kwan a ye fa so edi bohye so no e ade e wo se e kai Ghana fo nyina ansa de twato ye susu sa afie we ye be di Ghana ho nkomo so san nkomo na wo se ye nkomo a ye di nukradiem ni nkomo ende ye be ko anim enye nkomo a ye sesa niema kamfua e de kire bibia eni ho saa ye be kai a enye de di kan a saa kuoi wo ma hye da petu se asem bi fa Ghana ho wo mo be ka no huhu aka ne se nia ebema wo ye ma hye wasusu se bibi ikoso wa bra nye saa net ye be kai about 2018 saa kuo ya na mo ba abonten be ka se ye ne America for a contract se America for be see US military bases wo Ghana ha se ebi kra betumi atoto mba mo na ye nye o mo hwe ne nkeka ho ne ade me gidi se mu nyina mo kai saa nsem we on boycott parliament saa bre no central for mu di akire ho omu say ka kire se asem se ne e bon ni nti no mo de court ma court kra mpo ebebua se de aban ye no enyina ne na so by 5th May 2020 I na court bua say sa asem no kra no mo ka no eni enyina so kra wo mrem military base ko a mo tu ye nyina ya koma say aban na di boni bi ye ko fa military base aba no so obi kire be bia military base no wa senka enyina nka be de akona ni be yemfie mienu ni obi ahu military base bia nya de edi kan ni encha ye bia o say aban ye ne ye nuanom a wo China nhyehyɛ be $2 billion Sino-Hydro ayeye no bosia ene yesi enye bosia nti IMF nti omo kyerɛ krata mo be kai omo kyerɛ krata kɔma IMF sɛ IMF nka sɛ bosia omo ka sɛ bosia de a na ne be bia ɔman ne bosia bo adu no nya de betumi agye ne atwam ye hu dede bebre ewi eche na IMF be mo be kan sɛ de omo ka no enye no korɛ ye kan IMF ho asɛm a nansen tem omo san begina simpie so te sɛ ene de omo de TV sakɛse kakra be kan ho ne ayi kan ho ba wodo mo asuko a dada na ensesan nansen tem omo be ye central phone hye mu sɛ IMF aban the different figures ma IMF not the different figures about parliament be ho central for mudi akire the ink ne ade tro ya ewi akire IMF penny for IMF penny for Ghana be ka said the omoka no enye no kore saa kuo ya abra ye ba bem fofra owura kenofrata ekope besia $2.2 billion e wo cedis mu e de beboa na ye de so aban no ase e de afi ase no omo se waton o man na ma owura bi a friend Franklin Templeton omo de be court nkofo bi ebefia brocha ba investigate eni anom so mo be kai a omo san de court krampo na nsen court ebua kra se sa asem na omo ka se finance minister conflict of interest na sa transaction no bi boni bi on court kra bua se sa asem nya no kra nti sa ye nuanom we no omo su no omo ban eni ti se ne wa hu so omo ye bibi sa emani nya hu omo su no omo ban eno no nenne omo asem omo kan no eya na omo refi se Ghana tumpon ne nyina gitum se Ghana etumpon a ye nyina nya ho mfaso ebe ma daachi bi krampo no se bibi ne ye pre o baabi etumi abafie ntem na sa abiri bia Ghana tumpon na se wo de wo be ka se baabi aye ko na nya no kre na sei neti a de awo ye no wo bo oman no ase ene wo yi nkonya ni na si nchen a ensem omo kan pa na poso ye mienu ba ko omo se ebra omampani abedi akire Dr. Mahmoud Baumia ebu akonta efa aboshe a ye hye ho no obu akonta fa aboshe ahasa edio wotwe 388 na wanka no kre na boshe nankasa ye aha ensia ne eduasan ba ko 631 adan omo se omado esuko ahu boshe mako ahanu ene eduasan num 235 bia ye de atete Ghana how the boshe teta Obi a follow campaign bi asenka de pakro be hu. Ora ba me akasa February bosomi 9 echi ye nuanom ya de bia ma kyerɛkyerɛ mom su no mban om se o mako hu bɔhye ahanu ne aduasanum bi a ye de atete enti ene wo hwɛ ya presentation a me de kyerɛ no o ma list bɔhye bi om se ye hyɛ na om yo onka kyerɛ so om de beto abɛfo ntentan so me nyina akɔ akɔhwɛ saa bɔhye no na ye hu ansa na ye ba bɛbɛ ya fiti donko no me ye presentation ansa ye ba bɛbɛ wo hwɛ abɛfo ntentan so asɛ ne me bie kyerɛ mo ase no bɔhye no mo ka no eni hɔ de omo ka so mo mako hu eni hɔ ejina de omo gina simpie so tutu din mako no uye no fi hɔ a bebi omo se omo de beto ne nyina akɔ akɔhwɛ no eni hɔ yen abra no omo ye ne yetumi and omo website ni abra no omo ye ne yetumi echi bi wɔ internet no so ba ko na me di kan de kyerɛ mo no oba no agreka omo akeka nsɛm bi a omo se ye share bɔ sɛ ɛka enema hodo ɛbɛyɛ na ye de atete ena me ko bie de omo kan na me de to MPP manifesto no ehu wo hwɛ manifesto na ye di kan abokokoko kakra ye di kan kyerɛ ye ni suade hu de apoto kasam ye frɛ no vision ya kyerɛ de frɛ no strategic framework sɛ ade a ye ba be ye bɛhwɛ benkum ni nimfa apue ni atoye ansa na yetumi ayɛ ansa na ya ba bɛkyerɛ poten pa no ɛdɛn ne ɛbɛyɛ no na ɔka bom a ɛyɛ ahasa ɛdiɔwɔtwe de ɛyɛ nuanom ayɛ ne sɛ ɔmo kɔfa yɛ nisuade hu no yɛ ka sɛ ɛbɛhwɛ apue ne atɔyɛ etifi ne anafo no masesa ni na sɛ okay nti ofa nisuade hu na ɛbaako apue atɔyɛ etifi anafo nti na ɔde enum aba bɛka bɔhyɛ nankasa wo hyɛ no sɛ wo hyɛ bobi a wahyɛ daade atɛ wanka no korɛ na we no ɔmo sɛ pɔtɔ kasa na ɔmo sɛ ɔmampani abɛde akyire adabo in intellectual dishonesty say ode nyansakwan editro ye ka obi ode nyansakwan editro eno na wie yada no di akyere mu yi baby ya hyehye ye vision no ya tudin baby ya strategic framework ya tudin ansa na bɔhye na poso no so ya kyere ba ne sen na akofa bɔhye ne wie a na ade enisuade hu no ene strategic framework na keka ho se wakohu bibia na enim ti say ye ka obi a wafa nyansakwan so editro ana oyɛ de friend intellectual dishonesty a ye nyina ye hu baby a efi ubehu se bebre no sa kwan we so no mafa e de aba benya be 200 and something promises e de abeka de ayen ye share no ebi o sa wo so de begu abontin me nyina yakwa akodomu asuku ahwa asenka ba na nke wo ye de wo kumase ye nwie kura ye mfi kumase ambedun kran ne da abefo ntentan so mo centrofo mo fa na mo se minister yen ko pagea ade na we mo se moye na ye kyerɛkyerɛm se we nti na si aye o mo die sa bere ya me ne mo kase abo no num apa mu apa ho eni ho ye hwɛ anim sɛ ɔmo de begu hɔ a details na ɛwɔ mu sɛ ne ye hu de edi kan a ɔmo akɔsesa bi ɛde tumfu tragu ni pani no ye be yi ni na so ama obi aso ɔwɔ akyire bia ɛho ebio ye san so ama obi ɛho sɛ de enti ɔmo pɛ kwan di bia bɛka ho ne sɛ afie nkomodi a yedi no ɔmo asɛm ɔmo pɛ sɛ ɔmo ka ne sɛ aban ka no korɛ in fact utieti bia ɔzo at a point Grandpa, the COVID-19 say buying massage figures for COVID-19 as to what the actual figure I know what they and the enyade omuka but no man count what try say buying massage figures but I ade omu person omu kan say buying kan okre enti no mo ahye da akwa promises bia be kan ho say promises na we say da na di mamu e bi wo the promises ni bi kan ho na wo ye calculation na say base ni ye kese a bo say percentage na ba form nti on person score 14% say enyade na no na ye ka say even ni podo NDC kra no enyade obeka say akufo ado 14% utan kwadu a na wayi ni mirika nipa odo NDC kra mpo no on kasa akufo ado 14% obeka sampa dodo na de aye bia ono na enso nani but 14% de obi akra ni ho a obejew edi ansa na specific promises na omoka no se na aye kire no uko website no so kra nya de a obehu sa abripo na wo de aye adwuma ye de a ye kan ya kire ye tumire a kire sie ni na wo ho a ye sere mo se central for mo hwe na momfa eno nya adwuma na ye wie na ye ka se sa kuwe apart from the fact say abre bia omo ye sa de we ye be de kire busum mienu miensan ye be hu se nya no kore no ye fa omo anka so omo bobre ewo boshe ni di so mu a ye de omo manifesto 2008 to 2012 omo first term ye de atoto ho wo hwe omo de na and ye de copy be mamu ye wi a de copy be mamu wo hwe omo de na One man tra 60, your friend is saying 67%. Go to the pie chart. 67% omo to me and deliver. By the time omo term ni twam, yeah the crowd dey wie you. As abre ye wo be 78. Omo the first term no 67% crampo no. Omo to me anya wie. Nso saa koe na sesei omo eda no omo aba betu obi afo se omo no mu di boshe so. Enti omampani akufo ado ne boshe oni so nti Ghana mpuntu na ye ka se Ghana kɔ danim no enye no kore na wo se ye danadi mamu nyina mu ya se me twato ne se 2020 ye bedi o man ne ho nkomo ye sere se sa nkomo no ye ndi nukurem ye sere se sa nkomo no ye ndi no nkomo a ebema Ghana mpuntu ene adwen kyerɛ ahodo ebema mpuntu abaso de apoto kasa me friend alternative policies eno ne yemfe ni anim nye sa abiri bia behwɛ se ye bekɔ echi na fa ne se they are NC impono na ye chinchim no se esi na no na ye to nsa afre moso ye nuanum central force nkomode na moso mudi anim ama ye di no obi kasa yemisa ne se wo credibility on delivering promises ewe he wan kasa wo bobre wo boshe need so ewe he ye ye no fi wa ye koye nim no wo wadwe nkyere kwan a Ghana betumi afa so afa ne ntoma pefra no eno ne sen eno ne nkomo ayisu se ye di a ebebo na de oni bi anya bi de oni adwuma anya bi de ohwe kakrama kɔ na no so no ne nsa aka bi ye beda mo ase. This is the quick brief in English and in Twi. If there are questions, we'll take it before we wrap up. Yes, sir, Latif, please step forward.
Thank you. My name is Latif Idris. I work with JoyNews. You just mentioned that your party, you've completed or realized 70% of the promises you made to the Ghanaian people ahead of the 2016 general elections.
No, we have said that, as the Vice President mentioned, if you put together what we have delivered and what we are in the process of delivering, that amounts to 78%.
78%?
Yes, sir. I'm sure you followed the presentation in Kumasi.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Do you mind giving us a breakdown of sector by sector and how you came about the 78%?
Yes, it is all available on the website from February, as we have mentioned. I've had the opportunity to be interrogated on it, even on your platform, by your colleagues, raising specific promises and we giving specific responses to what we have done on each one of those. The ones that we have also not tackled, that's about 85 of those promises. As far back as February, we've been clear that these ones, we haven't tackled them. They are pending. I'm sure you were here by then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's been asked and answered already.
The NDC appears to be giving you a lot more credit by saying you promised over 600, in your manifesto.
And we have exposed...
Wouldn't you be happy?
We have exposed how and why they are coming by that figure. Mm. I'm sure you saw the presentation that I did.
I did.
And you saw where they picked the vision and they added to the promise, the strategic framework, the words and the phrases, and they added to it. If you are doing an intellectual exercise, you've got to be very honest with it. So the specific promises we have made are the ones that we have listed and we have accounted for same. And if anybody wants to measure us, we think that it is fair to measure us on that empirically provable set of promises that we have made.
The argument they will make is that they still pick those promises from your manifesto.
So if you pick the conclusion of the manifesto, would you say that that is a promise? I'm not sure you will say that. So I think for us, the specific response is what we have put out there clearly. We have shown you how they have arrived at the extra promises or the extra words that they are translating into promises. We've done that, and it is for them to tell us that that is not how they did it. Okay? Thank you, Latif. Kojo?
I have 3 questions, one on the NDC's press conference and 2 on COVID-19.
Very well.
So first of all, I will deal with infrastructure. The NDC said you promised 82 and you have only delivered 7. I know you have contrary figures. Can you tell the Ghanaian public, in terms of infrastructure, the mark you give to your government?
Can you go to the infrastructure slide? And colleagues, you will recall that we have actually published a whole database on this one, and we've provided the details. So I'll fetch it for you. But let's go to your next 2 questions.
My next 2 questions: what is the current state of our health minister, Honorable Koko Ajman Meno? And we're getting reports that some contact tracers have laid down their tools in the Ashanti and then Western region. What has been the engagement so far with these people in terms of Ghana's COVID-19 management?
Thank you. Is there a third question?
Still on COVID.
Quickly.
So it appears we are having a lot more numbers, with the positivity ratio is on the rise. I just want to find out, are we realizing this because we are testing more, or the cases are fast spreading within the communities? Thank you.
TV3, right? CT quickly, and then let me take TV3.
So Saturday, you distributed PPEs to the various schools. Today, I went to the Accra Technical University to find out whether the school has received its share. What method are you using to share? Are you using the district education officers, or COVID-19 team goes to the school to deliver them? How come some schools are not getting these PPEs?
Thank you. We'll respond to that. And then TV3, I'll give you the final question.
All right, thank you. The NDC says that some of the promises were picked from your manifesto and others were made on political platforms, not necessarily from the manifesto. Are you able to tell us how many of these promises were made in the manifesto and those outside the manifesto?
So, for example, which promise are they saying was not made on in the manifesto, but they picked it? And then we'll juxtapose that with the claimed intellectual exercise they are doing of measuring what they call manifesto promises.
Okay. So,
maybe let me take these ones while you fetch for that one, okay? So I spoke to the minister responsible for health. I think that was yesterday. He told me he's home, he's in good spirits. He's not physically sick. That is what he reported to me. He's not physically sick, but he's taking the medications that he's been given, even though he's been diagnosed as positive, and that he's responding to treatment. And I think, as the president said, him and all the others who have tested positive, we wish all of them a speedy recovery. This is yesterday as I spoke to him. Say again? He's not home? Yes, that's what he told me. That's what he told me yesterday. This report of some contact tracers who are reported to have laid down their tools, we have asked the Ghana Health Service to quickly look into it and report back to us. It's my expectation that when we meet at the 6 p.m. meeting with His Excellency the President tonight, as he does often, they will bring a report on the specifics. So hopefully maybe tomorrow morning when we gather for our press briefing, we should be able to give you a response to that. The numbers, twofold. One, yes, the aggressive testing regime that we are on accounts for some of the numbers that we are seeing. And that, indeed, if you look at the percentages of the total positive cases that are coming from enhanced contact tracing, it tells you that our enhanced contact tracing is contributing to, I think, more than half of the numbers that we have accounted for as positive. And we think that that is good fruit to the exercise that we're embarking on, because that helps us to find people early who are asymptomatic, support them, and then we can get the recovery better. But the other part of it also is that there are a lot of people who are not observing the personal preventive etiquette. And as the President has mentioned, the decision has been made to step up enforcement so that we can get some more compliance in that space. So it's twofold. One, the enhanced contact tracing. But in reality, people are also not complying, and it's important to step up enforcement to ensure some compliance. And finally, the PPEs. So we have mentioned that we're expecting about 197,000 people to be back in school for tertiary institutions. We have rounded it up to about 200,000 people, students, teaching and non-teaching staff, and we are providing a number of PPEs for everybody. What we've done is to make it available to the regional capitals, and we have requested the district heads, the district directors of education, to pick from the regional capitals and ensure that within their district, the tertiary institutions that are there, I think a total of about 234 tertiary institutions across the country, to make sure that within their district, they ensure that that distribution takes place. And I'm sure tonight we'll get an update on where we are in terms of that distribution. And Chief, your final part of it, yes?
Yes.